Hello, niche group of fellow Expanse fans who like to play piano. Here is a version that I've put together by ear from the Season 2 soundtrack of the song Lost. It's also essentially like a part of the main theme from Milowda, which is, of course, I think probably the most emotional scene in the series, so it's a great piece. In this video, I'll show you both how to play it and I'll give you a performance. And so the video will start with just my version of it. Skip about a minute ahead past this and you'll get to the tutorial part, and then there'll be the version again at the end for you to try to play along with. Hope this helps and have fun. Now we're going to break it up into sections to learn it. And so at the very beginning, we start with just the chords basically alone, no upper register accompaniment. And so we'll start in probably the most important chord of this work, which is a C sharp minor chord, but we're playing it inverted like this. We've switched back and forth between the two. And everything happens in counts of eights in this song. So you'll go 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay? And at the very beginning, we don't have anything going on up here, but we're going to use our right hand to hit a note down there on the second one. So this first part will go like this, hands together. Where we've tapped this low C sharp on the second set of 8, if that makes sense. Move into learning the first bit of the melody. So you're going to need an E with the right hand. There's the second E above middle C, an F sharp, and then a G sharp. Pretty simple. The E will come at the beginning of one set of 8 with that C sharp minor chord you learned in the last section. The F sharp will come with the second set of 8 of that same chord, and the G sharp will come with a new set of 8 of a G sharp major chord, which we will play like this. So you'll go, this is the first chord we learned. Then after we play 2 bits of those, we're gonna shift to this. Okay, so it's not too big a movement. Now, and we're gonna play 2 sets of those. So we have 2 sets of this, 2 sets of these for 8 each. And on the second set of these, we're gonna add in this bass note like we did at the very beginning. Okay, so I'll play this bit for you. Okay, so once you add that to the first part, you've now gotten through a good little chunk of the song. Okay, for this next bit where the melody advances, we're gonna play the same first 3 notes. But when we play this note, instead of playing our G sharp major chord, we're going to instead play an E major. So we're gonna go like this. Okay, so I'll do that one more time. You hit a low E first, come up to around middle C, okay? So hands together, this part will look like this. And then once you play that, you're gonna move from this E major chord down to here. Okay? That's a B major chord, right? So the left hand only plays one set of 8 of the E major, and then it's to the set of 8 of this B major. Okay, and that comes by itself. This part will look like this. Good. Now we're ready to move as the melody advances to the really emotional part, right? So the right hand is going to do this. A, B, G sharp. And that's going to come with a nice bit of chord movement down here. Okay, so we're going to have the first chord that we're going to play with is we're going to go down to an A major chord. So we'll play A in the bass. And then you'll oscillate back and forth like you've been doing. We only do one set of 8 though. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we go down to an F sharp minor. 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. And then we land on an inverted C sharp major chord, which is fun. And then we play this one twice, and the second time we hit the bass note. So it's no longer inverted. Okay, and I'll show you what this looks like hands together. I'll go slow. Made one small mistake there, but you also might have noticed that I like to hit this. I hit that bass note with my right hand instead of jumping. You can jump if you like, but if you don't jump, then you can like keep playing this. Anyway, whatever. So now you've got that. You've got the first of these little emotional rises. We're going to do that same right hand bit again, the A to the B to the G sharp, but we're going to play it with a different underlying chord progression. So now, the first chord that you'll start with is that F sharp chord. So you'll go one set of 8, then move to the A major chord. And then this time we're going to resolve down into an E major chord. But we're only going to play it once before we move to our G sharp major chord from the beginning. So hands together, I'll show you what this looks like slow. Where again, I just made a tiny mistake, but I assume that you can sort that out. Okay, good. So now you're at the very end of the song, and we go back to just our very basic first C sharp minor chord. We'll do 2 sets of 8. And then we go back to that G sharp major chord, just like we've been doing. And then we'll add in the bass note and then add in a low bass note. That I'll show you in a second when I play it hands together. It's kind of nice because if you assume that this is written in this key, right, of C sharp minor, then we end on this kind of unresolved 5 chord, which is kind of fun, fitting for what's happening in the show, right? Okay, and then the right hand is basically going to take on, at the beginning, you might remember we just did E, F sharp, and G. Basically the same thing, except now we're going to kind of lightly arpeggiate thirds, basically. With that one, I guess, being a 4th, right? Okay. So I'll show you what this looks like, hands together. I'll go slow. And hopefully you saw those 2 notes I added with the right hand in the bass like that. And it kind of just fades out like that, at least in the soundtrack that I listened to. Okay, so now hopefully you can put it all together, and I'll play a version right now that shows you all the steps put together again. And so you can see that. Great, good job.